Hello, and welcome to another Midnight Snacks with Clay, where Clay tries to figure out how to make it so he can see things. There we go. I don't know if I went live already, but hello, and welcome to another Midnight Snacks with Clay, with your host, me, Clay. Hello. This is the part of the night where Clay eats weird things that people send him in the mail. Tonight we have a special thing I'm eating, which I can't believe I'm eating, and I may regret ever volunteering to eat whatever you all send me. But we're going to do it anyway. So, but we're going to wait a little bit until everyone's in here and so on and so forth. So, first, the story. Hey, Ellie, you're already here. That's great. So tonight's theme is things done outside, or outside in general, I guess. So one thing that I really enjoy doing is hunting and fishing. And I like going hiking and canoeing. And I was a Boy Scouts for a while, but not for too long. And now I don't do it as much as I used to, but I still hunt and fish a lot. But in Boy Scouts, I actually went whitewater rafting one time, which I thought was a lot of fun. And if we ever had the chance, I would like to take the youth group whitewater rafting. But it's so much liability. It might be tricky. But I had a lot of fun when I went. Hello, everyone. Noah's on here. Wow. A surprise. Noah, I don't think Noah's been on here before. Jamie Moore, are you Steven this time? Oh, I just got a message from Facebook that Northside went live. Yeah, I think they did. Yeah, Lucas, it's spider time soon. Okay, so anyway, back to my story about whitewater rafting. So I went when I was like, I'd be 12, 13. I'm 12 or 13 in a lot of my stories. I probably am older or younger. I always imagine that was the time I did things. But we went whitewater rafting on Cumberland, in the Cumberlands, I guess. Cumberland Falls, Lake, Caves, something. We went whitewater rafting. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. We had this lady who ended up being kind of the guide. I don't remember her name, but she was a muscular lady, and she was even more muscular than she let on, because occasionally grown men would either of the would fall out of the boat, or we would jump out on purpose to get every time Amber is sending a message, it's popping up. I do not like the way Facebook decided to do this. Every time we just got out to get cool or something like that, she would pull us back in. But we called her like She-Hulk, because she would grab us by our life jackets, because you have to have your life jacket, and then just pull. And you were in the water and then you weren't anymore. And it was crazy. But that was a lot of fun. And then when we came to this one water place, like, okay, we're going to go down these rapids. If you fall out of the boat, try to swim to the side as quickly as possible, because there's this rock we're going to go up, and we're going to go straight at it, and then we're going to go up on the rock, and then we're going to slide back down, and then we'll go around like it was a Y. They're like, but if you fall out, there's actually an undertow there, like a little cave cut into the underside of that could suck you in, and you would continually stay there for a while, and you might drown, which would be bad. But she goes, and we need to be extra careful, because our job is to go first, so the other boats behind us can go through safely. So we need to make sure we're really careful. And we're like, sweet, yay, no safety ropes. We are the safety ropes. and we made it just fine. And then we got there, and she pulled us over to the side, tied us off, and then she stood on a rock with a bag of rope. I guess you would call it. Like, you throw it out and it'll spool. That way, if anyone fell, she could throw it there. But I remember to this day thinking, like, actually, um, being in the lead boat, they ended up having to go first to make sure everyone else was safe. But everyone got through. That was a lot of fun. Then we got to this one rock, and it was jutting out. It was a 3-story drop off the top of the rock, and so we jumped off of that a bunch. And then we were going, and they're like, "Okay, we know we're close to where we can eat when you see the French fry rock," is what we call it. And sure enough, there was a cluster of rocks that looked like a box of French fries sticking out. And right around the corner was a big old boat with sandwiches and all kinds of stuff. And they drove us or rode us up to wherever they unloaded us to drive us back to our cars and stuff. But that was a lot of fun. On tonight's theme, I want to tell you a story about Mexico. Also, I'm wearing this is my cowboy duster. I guess I'll have pajama pants on, just be warned. But it's well, I can't even do it that way. So it's like a full-length duster like cowboys wear. The reason I have this is because one time I told my dad I wanted a cape because I'm a nerdy kid, and my dad bought me a duster instead because he's like, that's what cowboys have, and that's actually a good thing to have. You don't need to have a cape like some kind of weirdo. But originally I wanted a cape, but he gave me a duster, and I very much like my duster. I've worn it out when it's kind of a Carhartt kind of material, whatever that is. So it doesn't snag and all that stuff, and it's great. So anyway, so in Mexico, before I do what I'm about to do, there was we were making this camp. I don't remember if I told you all this story. We were setting up a camp the whole week we were there for them to do a summer camp later in the summer or something like that. And one of the jobs we were going to make a pool that had like a waterfall down into it, and so we needed to collect a bunch of rocks that we were going to kind of make like a layered thing so it'd be a waterfall. And while we were digging, we found this thing. I can't even remember exactly what it looked like, but it was like ghostly white. It had like 8 legs, kind of looked like a scorpion, but was flat. And just a nasty looking thing. One of the workers came over and like cut it in half with a shovel like immediately, and they couldn't speak very good English. We couldn't speak Spanish, so they tried to communicate. They pointed at it. They're like, "You no touch. It sting. You wish dead." And I was like, "You said enough. I understand the words of you wish you dead." And I thought that was crazy, and so I was like, wow, I need to make sure I'm looking out for this thing. And all of a sudden, sorry, I got lost. And I've been telling this story for years. And then I was watching like some of the most dangerous animals or something like that, dangerous, non-poisonous dangerous animals or something like that. And it popped up, and it was like, this is the something. I was like, that's the thing. But for the life of me, I can't remember what it was called. I want to call it the Widowmaker, just because it sounds cool. But on that subject, as everyone in the comments are going, Lucas Moore has sent me a great gift for tonight's Midnight Snacks with Clay. And I'm going to finally, I haven't opened it or anything. So this is what I got today in the mail. It is a zebra tarantula. It was from some kind of, it's from Newport Pork Jerky Company. So in Newport, Rhode Island. And so I'm guessing that it's been dried out or something. But I'm going to eat some of it, not all of it. But I haven't even opened the package, so here we go. I can't believe I do this, but I'm a man of my word. It's got a nice zipper seal to it. If this is alive, I just have a new pet. If it's dead, I guess I'll have to eat it. Oh man, it's worse than I thought, guys. I thought, well, it won't be that big, but they've like folded it in here. If you don't want to look at spiders, look away now. But everyone else wants to see it. Oh man, it's like hairy and everything. This is crazy. Why did I let someone talk me into this? It looks almost fake. It's crazy. Oh, okay, it is pretty dry. The legs are falling off. That's nice. Well, I barely got out. Eight-legged. Actually, one time I ate a cicada. This is actually not bad. It smells like a pet store. Let's see. I'm trying to get as much out as I can, but those are broken off this thing. I can't believe I let you all talk me into this. Okay, so I guess I will eat at least one egg. When I dropped it, made weird. Leg, not egg. That would be even nastier. So, legs. Not the best taste, but kind of jerky-ish. I have Oreos on standby. Don't worry, guys. Feel like this front part that has the fangs in it, I don't really want to eat. I don't know why. I'm going to break the fangs off. I guess I have to eat this front part of it. And, yeah, so bon appetit, I guess. I'm going to try not to puke this TV. Oh, it has eyes. No, it doesn't. That's the wrong side to have eyes. Okay. There we go. The moment everyone for. It's actually not bad. Sure, might watch me. I'll tell you what it is. It's the aftertaste. That it's kind of like sawdust. It's weird. Like it's not as gross as it. I'm going to tell you, I get a little bit, but just because I know what it was, you know. Yeah. Hey, look, you can see. That was not as bad as I thought it was. However, not being the rest of it, Lucas. But I ate more than half, I'd say. And so I feel like I'm a man of my word. I eat a spider. Thank you for that. experience and claim the zebra tarantula before. Whew. The crunch. The crunch was just, that was what got it. It was just like, still picking legs out. Yeah, I try not to eat its butt. Colton said grossest part would be the egg sac. I decided not to actually eat that part because I felt gross, like that's where organs and stuff are. Actually, like I really am. It was the sawdust slash, like, Amber won't get this, but like, have you walked into a pet store and woo, that burp was not. You walk into a pet store and you like smell pets. Does that make sense? It was like the taste of smelling pets. It was weird. This was an Oreo. Mmm. Chocolatey, washing it down. Ah, I was like, what is Amber saying, or what is Colton saying he's not wrong about? Yeah, I've been nasty. Well, there you have it, kids. It's a spider. There's the remnants. I'm glad I did that. It's kind of fun. The Amber says the Oreo made the same sound as the... Yeah, kind of. Yeah. The taste was the thing. I didn't actually mind eating the spider. The consistency wasn't actually that bad. I had jerky. It was very jerky tasting. Very dry jerky. But who's going to eat the rest? It's going to be Colton. Colton's already said that he'll eat it. No problem. He wanted me to save the egg sac thing for him. So that'll be who eats the rest. Thanks again. More family. That's a really fun thing to be able to do. And I was a little bit surprised. Oh man, I got spider all over my keyboard. I believe someone actually, a jerky place has spiders that they just do like that. That's crazy. So, on the subject of outside stuff, what's some of the cool places that you've been outside? I kind of feel I like this outside theme because I feel like a lot of us. I'm just kind of curious to see what kind of experiences you all have had. Even the saying that I'll find a hair for you. I don't think there was any hair on it. If there was, that would be even more gross. I'll tell you that. It was actually extremely light too. I don't think it's really like having pieces of beef jerky. Was the biggest thing, stuck in my teeth and stuff. Oh, Erica should make the Amber should make me vacuum the whole room, but she in there. I've almost thrown the spider at her several times today, but because I'm a loving husband, I didn't do that. And I kept the pieces are all together. So I'm trying to think of some of the other adventures I've had. I really like going caving. Like to Mammoth Cave, Carter Caves, and have a tour where they actually take you and stuff. I think that's really cool. And they actually like turn off the flashlights and stuff, and you can like see what dark actually is. It's one of the, if you've never had that happen before, it's an experience you should try sometime. Because it's like crazy what it's like to have no source of light whatsoever. And that'll preach. Annie accusing me of lying because she's a meanie pants. As of yesterday, the spider was but it came to me this morning, actually. Lucas sent me a thing and said that it was Kelly. But right now, Amazon is really off when it comes to when stuff will get here on time, because they are prioritizing essentials first, and so they kind of give you a far out time. If they have time, if they have the ability, they fit you in earlier, and I think that's what happened with the spider. I know I didn't say I was lying, Annie. I just know your accusational nature. I can just see you be like, Clay, yesterday you said the spider wouldn't be here till the end of the month. I could just hear you saying that. I think you're a perfect example of you. Other youth people, let me know if he's nailed what it sounded like to be Annie just now. Colton said school's outside place was either Yellowstone in Antelope Canyon. I went to on vacation last summer. That sounds pretty cool. I really love waterfalls. So I'd like to go Niagara sometime just to see what that looks like. But Kenzie says she's been to Williamsburg, Virginia. I've been there too. Actually, our family was in a car wreck on the way back. Which was crazy. This person fell asleep behind the wheel and woke up in enough time to come behind or swerve around us, but they side of my bike, and then through traffic and then just slammed into the back of a semi truck. And then my dad pulled over at what I refer to as Captain Parker, which is what my dad wear department just kicks into like go mode. And it's always, I've only seen it like 3-4 times in my life when he's just like Captain Parker and like he's like taking over the scene and stuff. It's a sight to behold. But he got out and like checked the guy, made sure he was okay. People were trying to take him out of the car and he was stopping them because when that kind of accident, unless someone is in danger, you don't want to move because there could be spinal injuries and so on and so forth. It was a whole mess. I just wanted to play my Game Boy. I was playing Pokemon. But this was back in my day before Game Boys had backs. I had to have like a little flashlight over top of it so I could see what I was doing. I only got to ever play if we were taking trips or if I snuck it in the bathroom, which also made my mom think that I had bathroom issues because I'd spend like an hour in the bathroom. And the reason is because I was just playing Pokemon. It's a good game. It's Pokemon Gold. It's the only Pokemon I ever owned, and I loved it. I've thought many times to buy a Game Boy just so I can play Pokemon again. Hey, my mom's here. Apparently, Laura, but I don't even see where Laura said you, Presley. Maybe I'm just missing that. Kenzie also saying Florida and Disney World. I've never been to Disney World. However, Ellie, as I point out every time, has been like 14 times, which is just ridiculous to me. I'm trying to think of places that I've been that I thought was really cool. I don't know really. That's the thing. My family went to probably Natural Bridge is what Nacho Bridge is what our family went to the most growing up. And I've gone back a few times myself. I've taken Amber there twice, 2, 3 times. So I really enjoy nature. I've told you all before, part of the reason I love nature is just, um, I'm trying to read the comments as I'm telling the story. Lucas is telling me to eat the other part of my spider. No, I do appreciate it. Like I said, it really is the taste. I taste it better. I would eat the rest of it. But it was a weird, moldy sawdust taste almost. I'll tell you what, I'd like to go to, well, not in the U.S. or anything, but those places that are like far out in the desert, stuff like that, that there's no light pollution, so you can actually see the sky. And like they have huts that have like glass roofs that you can like sit inside and like look upstairs and look up at the stars and stuff like that. You should look up photos. Really cool because there's so many more stars that you can't see even if there's light semi close. But the places that I'm talking about, drive like 100 miles into the desert to make it happen, so there's no light within 100 miles. It's just I'm getting distracted again. But on that same subject, I've always found God in nature. I think it's really cool that God made everything so unique. There's like, if I was coming up with trees, I'd stop at like 6, maybe 8 different types of trees. Many other trees. First, there's so many flowers, there's so many plants, so many animals. Like the variety that God has blessed us with is just crazy to me. And then also the cool ways that God has made animals to be able to survive certain conditions and stuff, or do things that I like. I like the weird animals, like the sidewinder that like does that weird thing sideways across the sand. And, I'm pretty sure that part of the equipment deal with the hot sand underneath of it. Like I think that's really cool. One of my favorite animals or bugs, I guess it is called a bombardier beetle. Like a beetle that throws bombs, bombardier. But what it is, it's a beetle that's able to shoot a liquid out of its, and put correct word here, its butt. That the chemicals mix right as it comes out, and it burns at 200 degrees Fahrenheit. And so like it blasts it like predators in the face, and it just burns so much that they leave it the heck alone, which, someone shot 200-degree liquid out of its butt, leave them alone as well. I think that's a fair assessment. But it's also, it's really cool that God made it this way. This is my nerd button, so engage. It doesn't just go like that and shoot it all out, because that would be like shooting a rocket out, and it would just fly out into the air, and who knows what would happen. And so you can look this up on YouTube, bombardier beetle. And so when it does it, it actually does like a machine rapid fire. That way it can control the minor explosion that is shooting out all at once, and it basically control the recoil. And so it's so cool to me that God's like, not only are you able to shoot liquid out of your butt, because why not, but we're also going to make it so you can control recoil on it, so you don't go flying across the and I think that's so cool. It's actually also cool kind of showing that God's hand in creation, because it is an explosion that makes that happen. And do you know what you call an explosion that is kept inside of something? That's called a bomb. That's how you make bombs, is a contained explosion. And so if the bug mixes the chemicals right as it goes out, it that happens. But if it mixes it while it's still in its body, it would just be a self-contained explosion and bugs blow up. And so you can see that God's in that, crafting that. The other cool thing that I think God made is the woodpecker. Because the woodpecker actually has to do a bunch of crazy stuff to be a woodpecker. For one, its beak is made extra strong so it can burrow in because the bugs are, which is also cool that God's like, hey, there's going to be bugs in trees. We need to make sure that something can kind of make sure that not too many bugs get in trees. So I'm going to make this woodpecker. Anyway, the beak actually doesn't just break. Most other beaks would just shatter. They can't take that kind of beating against hard wood, but a woodpecker's does. Its feet have to anchor into the wood, because if you hit it and then you're not anchored somewhere, it would just fly off. It couldn't get a good strong hit on it. And then the craziest of all things, it actually takes its tongue, sticks it up its a hole that goes up into where its brain is, and wraps its tongue around its brain. Because if you just bang your head, if you guys at home, bang your head against the wall and see what happens. You would just fly back. Like if you've ever watched a woodpecker peck it fast, and your brain would just be sloshing around constantly, and you'd go brain dead. But the woodpecker's able to use its tongue to hold on and make sure that it's cushioned and that doesn't happen to it. And the fact that God made both of those also shows that he has a sense of humor, which is good for me because I have a sense of humor, and that would be an issue. And so anyway, it's just so cool God things and equip them. Then like the fact that like vultures exist, because we have to have something that can get rid. And sharks are the same way. I learned recently most sharks eat dying things. I think with sharks, alligators like to eat rotted stuff. God's like, hey, if this meat sits around, it'll cause a disease. So I'm going to make some animals that specifically eat it. I don't know why God made mosquitoes. I haven't figured that one out. Maybe that was a Satan thing. Maybe Satan got to throw in a few annoying things. But then God made that eats like 10,000 mosquitoes a night or something ridiculous like that. And so it's kind of cool how our ecosystem has to exist. You ever watch the show Tanked? They actually talk about sometimes when they're building with coral and stuff, what certain animals they have to have, and certain coral to all actually work, be good bios. It's just crazy that everything gets so from God. That's my nerd button. I'm sorry. I'll go off on that forever. Let's see. Colton says one of the cool animals he likes is, well, I guess I'm going to go up. Yeah. Is the mantis shrimp. They're so small they pack a punch. Yeah, the mantis shrimp. Those are cool. They're literally tiny, but I think I saw a video, and he says that it hits. They can make their little punchy things that they have on the front of their face hit as hard or at the same velocity as a 22 rifle. And the cool is this is just ridiculous to me. Hit so fast that they actually make a vacuum of air from moving so fast, and then that air closes back in and makes a minor explosion. And so not only are they hitting it hard, but then their hits actually explode basically on hit. So yeah, mantis shrimp, that's pretty cool. I agree. I didn't know bald eagles lost their beak. That's crazy. I also told you all this, but the majestic sound of a bald eagle is not a bald eagle at all. That's a red-tailed. You should look up what an eagle sounds. It's quite funny and pathetic. Let's see. Oh, my mother's pointing out every orange has an even number of sections. The waves break shore an even number of times every hour of every day. Yeah, like I knew the orange thing, I think. didn't know the waves, but that's really cool that God, just the complexity of God and like making stuff like that. And I've talked about this a lot, but a lot of times people take science and religion and put it on two different sides, and I don't think that's the case. It's I think science is to help us discover God. I think they're supposed to be together because like I feel like God puts mysteries in our world for us to figure out because he knows that we like to learn. He knows someone like me would like to know facts about animals. So give me that knowledge. He wants me to discover it. I think that's really cool. Amber said, yeah, Noah, please don't hit your head. That was not an invitation. Noah would do that. Yeah. A little bit sidetracked on all of my animal stuff. I would really like to go snorkeling or kind of scoot up, but I would love to actually see um, to be able to snorkel in a coral reef or something like that and see all the fishes. I love aquatic stuff. Amber and I actually got a Newport aquarium pass before this all started, and then they closed down Newport Aquarium. But I was very excited. They were opening a new eel exhibit in March. And I wanted to go see them. I think it's really cool. Another cool animal, since we're on the subject apparently, is the archer fish. They have, for one, they have two sets of eyes, like stacked on top of each other, so they can see above and below the water. But they will suck water in their mouth and then spit it at insects that are on leaves and stuff above them to knock it into the water so they can eat them. And I think that's just super cool. And I think when you look at that stuff, you just like our God has to be creative and uh, funny. Just because of I would never think to be like, hey, I should make a fish that can shoot water. Like it's sometimes when I hear animals like that, or the platypus, be like, haha, you know how I made everything so you can put it in nice, logical categories. Here's a mammal that lays eggs. That breaks the rule. So I'll be funny. Like, some of the times I hear what God made, and I'm just like, it sounds like he was bored and was just like, what's a crazy thing I could do today? And I think it's cool to discover all that. So that's why going way back, that's connect with nature stuff is I like walking and looking at the leaves and looking at sticks and looking how rocks have formed and what water's done to them and seeing little lizards and centipedes and even spiders. Amber would disagree, but if you've ever seen the spider web and like the spider, like a really fast spider, shoot out and wrap it up within seconds, it's the craziest thing in the world. I got to see that once or twice live, like a garden spider. I fly it and like in 5 seconds on it, twisted it into a web, left it there, and like got over to the side and waited for something else to come. I thought that was really cool. And the fact that spiders make a really Amber's gonna hate me for all this. Make a really like beautiful web every night and then like tear it down. It's cool that they know how to make it. There's just so many intricacies to nature that I think is really cool. Amber says baby dolphins. They sound like baby dolphins. That would be fun too. Swim with dolphins or stingrays. If you've all never been to Newport Aquarium, you can actually pet the stingrays, and they're like dogs, and they like it, and it's really funny. Lucas says he likes to feed spiders. I've never successfully fed a spider. They're always on, like they always know I'm the one that threw the bug in there. It's weird. I have fed a Venus flytrap. That's annoying, especially because I was like 8, and once they close over what they're going to eat, they don't open up for like 2 weeks. And so it makes for a very boring pet. And I know it's a plant, but still. Which, side note on that, a plant that eats bugs. That's weird. Cool. Colton says he likes spiders, but he would never get close to one. Yeah, Amber, I know that you said eagles sound like baby dolphins. They do. They're quite pathetic. They're not the majestic sound that we associate. Um, I would actually like to hold a tarantula at one point. Amber would have to be nowhere close to me and might never be allowed to know what hand I touched because I'd have to wash my hands so many times. So anyway, oh, and we're saying some small spiders are very dangerous. I know like the most dangerous types of snakes are baby snakes because they don't know how to control their venom yet, which is a weirdly horrible, cute thing. Like, because they'll kill you, but it's kind of like, oh, you don't know what to do yet. You cute baby. Like, it's just, I don't know why that always makes me laugh. Be like, I'm sorry, I didn't know how much venom to use to almost kill you, so I completely killed you. I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know if I could even be mad at you. You don't understand what you're doing. I've ever seen the video of the guy slapping the cobras on the head with his hand. He's like surrounded by cobras and he just starts slapping them. It's the weirdest, craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, I don't mind spiders as much because like I can see spiders and like I can catch spiders. I can kill spiders. But snakes are just squirmy. And I like snakes, but like I feel like I can never actually like grab a snake really without like accidentally getting its tail and it striking me or something like that. Hold a snake if it was your pet, especially constrictors, because they're not trying to ever bite you to get you. So yeah. Kinsey says she's heard saying that snakes aren't scared of you. What do you mean by that? Just a question. I think it's cool that snakes can like tell the like smell with their tongue and stuff. I think that's cool. Colton said that apparently he had to read a book about snake milking, which just sounds crazy because like where are the udders? But you actually put their teeth in, yeah, and like get the milk out or get the venom out that way. But every time I hear a snake milking, the first thing I think is like, where's the udders? I don't know, just little tiny. It just makes me laugh. Ellie says that she likes snakes from behind the glass. I think that's Ellie. Oh yeah, some meds are made out of snake venom and stuff. Yeah, it's weird what we. A lot of times I wonder who was the first one to do stuff like mushrooms. You know, some mushrooms you can eat, some mushrooms kill you, and some mushrooms make you hallucinogenic. Want to know what guy to start picking up mushrooms with berries? Just be like, well, those berries are good. Steve died from eating that one, so let's avoid that one. Like, it just that you have to be kind of brave. But I guess a young world when there was that you had to forage and stuff like that. You kind of you originally got berries and you just had to learn that way. But we're kind of living in a world where you know I had a freeze dried train to me, so I wasn't too scared about if I could it or not because I feel like someone's had to approve that somewhere. Let's see. Kinsey said that snakes are scared of you, but when humans react to them is in a negative way, that is what gets them fired up. Yeah, I know that snakes can like scared or stuff like that. Amber says one of her students in China told them people drink horse milk. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I should judge that. People drink goat's milk and cow's milk, and what's to say? milk is. It just sounds unappetizing, but that again, that could be because I never grew up drinking horse milk. Colton said, "Yeah, the video we watched putting down a trash can while it's inside, letting it slither around and then it with his bare hands and milking it, but he apparently lost a couple of fingers from it." Yeah, I'd say so. You just shouldn't grab snakes. Let's see. I don't know why I am. Um, yeah, yeah, it kind of warrants that kind of stuff from happening. Camel's milk. I can see camel's milk. I'd like to ride a camel. I have a lot of nature experiences I want to have. But tonight I was able to eat a spider, so that's one experience I didn't think I'd have that I have. So there you go. I never wanted to eat a spider. Now I have. I get to tell everyone. Desperate times call for desperate masters. Yep, Kenzie, I agree. Sometimes you just gotta drink the camel milk. So yeah, sorry I got lost for. I heard Amber talking to, I think, our dog, Missy, from last week's episode. She suffers from seizures, and so she decided to start having seizures day before last. So when that happens, she's super annoying, and she whines all the time and won't shut up. And she just sits there and looks at you sleepily and just whines. Just like, we just got some them and stuff to calm her down, but it's a very sad thing. She's such a perfect little doggy, other than her seizures. Kenzie says pickled eggs. Kenzie, I can't remember. Do you like pickled eggs? I feel like that's a thing that I have heard about you. I could be completely. I like deviled eggs, or dressed eggs, as Wayne insists we call them at church, in case someone thinks that you can't eat devils. Preserved duck eggs. That sounds disgusting. I'm not horrible with eggs, but they're not my favorite. Yeah, my dog's apparently wandering around the circles in the room crying. He says no. Apparently, I was wrong about the pickled eggs. That is not something Kenzie likes. Yeah. One of the first things my mom taught me how to make was hard-boiled eggs. I ate those for a while, but not some more. That hard-boiled eggs, grilled cheese, and popcorn. I know there's not much to cooking popcorn, but those are the things I remember my mom teaching me how to make. I had a friend that gave me one of the chocolate chip cookie recipes. And I made them, and I thought they were amazing. And I used to hide the recipe under my in like a secret location. I lost the recipe, and this was like in 5th grade. No, I guess it was like 6th grade. So yeah. Apparently, Ellie agrees with me. She doesn't like eggs. She'll eat them, but they're not her favorite. I'm okay with eggs and stuff, but sometimes I'm okay with like scrambled eggs. I'm just iffy with eggs. My sister's allergic to them, and so that makes it easy for her. Colton can't think of anything weird for me to eat. That's fine. We'll find something. I thought I was going to have to go to Kroger today and find me something weird to eat, and then the spider came. So there's my answer. One thing we're thinking about doing is, if y'all have ever watched on YouTube a Southern thing, they have this called Bless Your Rank. And if you haven't watched them, you should watch them. He like goes and like gets like biscuits from 6 different places. 6, or he usually does 7 different places, and then he eats them and remarks on how they taste and where to rank them, so on and so forth. Like who's his best, and so on and so forth. And we're thinking about doing that. Rhonda's going to help sponsor me, because the biggest thing is when I told you all this before. A lot of times the food I'm getting is food I have to buy, and some of the weirder food is more expensive. And if I'm going to get like 5 or 7 different burgers, one, I'm not going to eat all those burgers in one sitting, but that would also get very expensive. One of Annie actually told me I should start a GoFundMe just to fund my minutes with Clay. So anyway, this has turned into a lively discussion. I didn't know what necessarily I was speaking about tonight. This has been kind of fun. My mother apparently knows where it is. It's in a long pine rifle looking box along with my middle school love letters. Yeah, I have middle school love letters. I kept them in a shoebox. They were all from my girlfriend Nikki, who I called Christina because that was her first name. It was Christina Nicole Wright. And she went by Nikki, and I hated that. I thought Christina was such a prettier name. So that's what I called her. I dated her in 6th grade and some of 7th until she broke up. She heard I was gay, and so decided that she'd break up with me, which I thought was a weird thing. But yeah, she used to pass me notes all the time. Kids, notes were things that you got before text messaging, and you had to be just as sneaky to pass them. And those of you all that might remember, like, she had this way of folding notes that it was like 3 times as a square and then like tucked in. This like nifty little thing, so you could like pulled it out and then unraveled it and stuff. It was a lot of fun. My mother is incorrect, but we love her anyway. I did not save Nikki. I saved Tasha from a river. And I think I actually was going to tell that story, but I forgot that I was going to tell that story. So you all might not know this. I was a lifeguard from 16 to 21, 22. And one day, my friends and I that we would, for my friend Tasha's birthday, we were wading in the Kentucky River. And we went out and we got on a, they had like it wasn't a sandbank, but it was a build-up. I'm in the middle of Kentucky River. It was only like 3 feet maybe that we were walking on. It was really cool. It was just an embankment that had been built up. So we're walking, and then all of a sudden I look over, and like not like 3 feet from me, Tasha's eyes are just like this far above the water. And she gets her face up. She's like, "Clay, help!" And I was like, "This is not a good joke." Like, because what if she actually needed help? And then she came back up, and her eyes were huge, and I was just like, "Oh, this is joking." And so I just went, "Crap!" and dove in off the sandbar. Because what happened is the little bar we were on was like 3 feet, like I said, but then it dropped to like 20 feet. Just like, she was only 6 feet away, maybe. And I grabbed her, put one arm around her waist, used my other hand, because I also wore shoes. Kids, if you ever are going into the water, don't wear shoes. It makes your feet almost useless for regular. I was doing breaststroke kicking, just like the frog legs. And then I was going against the current, which was fun as well. But then my friend was standing on the bar still, and so when I got close enough, I reached out my hand, grabbed him, and he pulled me in. So yeah, that was super scary. I did not have my tube, you know, the little lifeguard tube that's floatable. There was a current. Uh, I was fully dressed with shoes on. It was not the way I wanted to ever have to try to pull some out of the water. It's kind of scary, but everything went fine. I had a bunch of interesting saves as a lifeguard. One of my friends one time jumped in and saved a guy in his 20s that jumped into the deep end. And then when they pulled him out, he's like, sorry, I knew I couldn't. I just thought I could jump and touch the bottom of the pool, push my way off of it, and I didn't make it. And the worst part was he was a camp counselor that was there with his kids. And he was just an idiot and jumped in and did that. I had one kid who I would save him, and then the pool we were at is a zero depth entry, which is you would compare it to like the beach entry kind of thing, where like it starts off with a few inches, then gets deeper and deeper as you walk out. And he would hop, and and eventually it would be too deep, and he couldn't make it, and so I'd have to jump in and pull him out. And I pulled him out twice. The third time I pulled him out, I made him stand there until it came over. And I was like, he is not allowed back in the pool without a life jacket. And they're like, well, we can't afford a life jacket. I was like, go over there to the front desk, tell them I sent you over there and that he needs a life jacket, and they will give you a life jacket for free. So life jacket. He was a cute kid. But yeah, sometimes kids, especially at the public pool, kids are stupid. My kids, don't be stupid at the pool. Obey the lifeguards. They just want to keep you safe. The worst one, though, was I had, when I was 17 probably, I had two dads come in, and they had like their 11-year-old little girl, and they were playing with her, and they were putting her up on their shoulders, which wasn't allowed. So I was like, hey guys, let's not do that. Like, okay, fun sucker. Okay, whatever. It's not the first time someone said I was sucking all the fun out of the room as a lifeguard. Would be mean. And then they started picking her up and throwing her. And I was like, yeah, can't do that either. And then they started cupping their hands and letting her stand in their hands and then flinging her up in the air. And I blew my whistle. I was like, throw, do not lift, do not make her add water whatsoever. Do you understand, or do I need to have you kicked out? And they were like, and like made a whole thing about it. I was like, listen, I expected this from like the little kids that are around here. I was like, you all are full grown men. Like, don't be stupid. Like, what are you doing? But I've always had a problem with people that don't respect authority people. Sometimes people in authority are mean, stupid heads. Them to make that just are sick with power. But the majority of people in authority usually are just trying to keep you safe in some way. And so I always think it's annoying when people are like disrespectful towards them. Cops, teachers, lifeguards, all that stuff. My mama didn't. So anyway. Bye, Ellie. It's midnight, so welcome to Midnight with Clay. But I'm going to pray and then we'll go ahead. Thank you guys for joining me. Thanks again to the Moors for providing a spider for me to eat. So let's pray. God, thank you for this time of goofiness and talking about your creation and just having some time just to relax towards there and just kind of be stupid together. Thank you for that bit of you that you've put in us, that enjoyment of life. We thank you so much for giving us a family, a church family to connect to. We just pray that we also can connect to you in this time, even when we can't see each other. We love you so much. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So, I love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. I will see you all next. So